Hello everybody, my name is Sirhc and welcome back to another episode on the decidedly vanilla server. Back in our dye shop to start off the episode because I want to see how we're doing so far. So, we sold an orange dye and lots of green, very nice. Some light blue, no lapis. Purple, got some magenta, pink. No cocoa beans. Yep, some squid ink. And none of those. Alright, well, pretty good business. 13 diamonds. I suppose we should check down here as well, see if people have been using the payment chest. 2 dye vouchers. I gave those to KB, Nobody's, in exchange for some slime that I needed. So I gave him a couple of dye vouchers / diamonds, and it looks like he gave them back, which is kind of cool. But yeah, the shop is doing all right. I'm keeping this place very well stocked. Ink sacks are still kind of a problem. Getting tons of bone meal now, which means the white dye is fully supplied. Also, I have tons of extra pink, red, magenta, and all the yellow dyes, the ones that I can bone meal from the 2 tall flowers. I have tons of those, so we have plenty of stock for there. I might actually raise or lower the prices, raise the number of items you get per diamond. I've already done that on the cocoa beans because those are actually, they're very easy to get, even with this small farm. Whenever I harvest this, I get a stack of cocoa beans, so it's pretty easy to fill up the chest there. I have that chest full with stacks of 32, and I have extras. So we're doing fine on cocoa beans, and now with all the bone meal, like I said, we have plenty of the red, orange, yellow, magenta, pink, and white. So I might raise those to 32 as well. I don't think I'll raise the price any more than, or lower the price any more than that, raise the number of items any more than that. Just because I feel like I don't want to give away the items. Even if they're really easy to get, I still like the idea of running a shop, running a store, and having some sort of economy on the server. And so, like, I think it's not really in the best interest to just give these things away for such a small price. With 32, half a stack of dyes, you can make 4 stacks of blocks, and that's quite a bit. And let's say someone wants to make a build like this, and let's say, I don't remember how much I used, but let's say I used like 6 stacks of blocks, maybe 8 stacks of blocks. That would mean I would spend 2 diamonds here for a build like this, in order to get the dyes for that build. And I don't think that's too unreasonable at all. So I want to keep the prices, somewhat higher, I guess, than just giving items away for free, just because it's fun and it makes this whole thing kind of worthwhile. Also, we got a little payment here. Sorry, I blew up the spawner for supplies and compensation, KB. We got some emeralds, block of diamonds, very nice, and a mending book. He's gotten a mending librarian while working on the iron farm, and they have a little bit of a villager breeder. So that is awesome, very awesome. KB was using the 4-time spawner that we'll go check out today. In fact, we can make our way over there. And got blown up by a creeper. It is not a safe place yet. So he repaired everything that got broken, and thank you for that. That's awesome enough. But then he also gave me that little chest of stuff, of goodies, just because he had to use some of the items in the chest that I have down there to like replace anything that got destroyed. So very cool. Well, here is our 4-time spawner right now. It should look pretty similar, but I did do some reworking here in the AFK area. There was a couple of problems actually. I used to have the AFK area right here, and that did not work. This block right here wasn't activating the spawner down below. The rest of them were, but when you got to here, you were too far away. And so when I realized that, I went and I lowered the AFK spot one more block, and I went and I dug a hole to all of them and checked from every single block to make sure that the spawners were activating. I think before I just checked when I was standing here that that one was working and that that one was working. So yeah, now I've made sure and everything is activating from every single one of these blocks, which is very good. Which means I had to lower everything down one block. I had to lower the killing chamber one block. I also moved it back one block because the pressure plate used to be right here, and it sort of it made this AFK area really small. I think I mentioned this last episode. So I moved it to the end, moved the killing area, the killing spot back one block. It wasn't too difficult, except for I had to move that tower back one block. Everything else was pretty easy to move and adjust. So that's all good to go. Everything is working here. Very nice. Still works as intended. And we have some storage down here. Not a ton of items in there because I've been pulling it out and filling these chests. So we have a lot of stuff so far already. Very good. Also, KB donated an enchantment area over here because he's been using it for enchanting. So I'm glad it's already getting some use. Very good. Today what I want to work on is the controls. I want to be able to turn all 4 of the spawners on and off with a button. Here I've already installed lights at all the spawners. I did that when I was checking the AFK areas. So we have some lights everywhere with some redstone. I just need to connect them to a central control. I think I'm going to put some buttons back here because we're going to need some room for redstone behind it as well. And I don't want that to be out in the open over on this side. Let's hop over into my testing world real quick to see some of my ideas though. Alright, so here we have some redstone that I figured out for the spawner control. Over here is pretty simple stuff. This is just to turn the spawners on and off. And it's basically a button turned into a lever. I used a T flip-flop here, made it tileable so that you can push a button and you can turn it on and turn it off. I could have used a lever, but this is a bit more fancy and I like it. So this is what we'll be using for the zombie and spider spawners. The skeletons are a little bit different though. For the skeletons, we have 2 different AFK spots. We have the 4x spawner and we have the spider spawner AFK area. And so what I wanted to do was that when you push a button, the spawner will get activated and the skeletons will get diverted to you. So if we push this button, the spawner turns on and the skeletons get diverted to the 4x spawner AFK spot. If we push it again, then the spawner turns off. If we push this button, spawner turns on and the skeletons get diverted to the spider spot. And this was achieved with some kind of complex redstone. The basics are, back here we have a T flip-flop to turn the spawner on and off. And that's pretty simple. If we push this button again, the spawner gets turned off. So we'll pull a signal off of here. If we push it again, that light will turn on and the spawner gets turned on. Over here we have an RS NOR latch, and this is for diverting the skeletons. Now an RS NOR latch is basically if we have a couple of torches here on some blocks, some redstone, and we have 2 inputs. If we push this button here, it will power this redstone. If we push this button, it will power this redstone. If we push it again though, it doesn't do anything. So it's basically a switch with 2 different inputs. And each input will only like change the state once. It'll just turn the state to whatever button you push, I guess. So that's what we're using for the diverter, which means if we push this button, that light stays on. The skeletons are still diverted to the spider spawner. If we push this button, light turns on over here. Skeletons are coming to the 4x spawner. If we push it again, still stays lit, even if the spawner gets turned on and off. So that's all pretty simple, the RS NOR latch and the T flip-flop. What makes this thing complicated is if this spawner is on and diverted to the 4x spawner or AFK spot. If we push this button, I didn't want the spawner to turn off. That's basically what caused this complexity, caused this big mess. Because if I didn't do anything fancy, if you push this, the spawner would get turned off, as well as the skeletons would get diverted. So the way I fix that is we basically have some repeaters here that lock. And the way that they lock is we have a signal coming from here that goes back to here. And we have a couple of AND gates that check certain things that are going on. So basically, if the spawner is activated and the skeletons are coming to the spider spot, that means if we push this button, the spawner will stay activated. It won't activate the T flip-flop back here. So now you can see that this one is locked here, which means if we push this button, it's not going to activate that T flip-flop. And now this one is locked. So that's where all the complexity comes in. We also needed those AND gates to bring back this indicator light, this indicator signal. This just tells you that the spawner is on and the skeletons are coming to you. So we needed a little AND gate to figure that out, to make sure that both the spawner is on and the diverter is in the right direction. So yeah, it probably could be a lot simpler than what I have here, maybe condensed a lot, but this is what I figured out, and hey, it works. I like it. So this is what we're going to build over on the server, on the decidedly vanilla server. Before we do any more redstoning though, I need to get some slime, and luckily Woogie has been working on a slime farm, I believe with some help from KB. And I think a couple other people have been helping dig out the slime chunks as well, which is great because slime has been kind of an issue to get. I know a lot of people have been having trouble. We do have a longer day. Our days on this server are 40 minutes rather than the normal length. I think the normal length is like 10 minutes. But our nights are the same amount of time, which means going to a swamp at night, you know, it takes longer to wait for the night to come around to go to the swamp at night. And I've tried twice to go to the swamp, and both times it has been a new moon, or I'm pretty sure. The first time it was a new moon, second time it was raining, so I couldn't tell. But I was there for most of the night, and I couldn't get any slimes to spawn. So here we have our slime farm deep underground. It is looking very nice. I like the use of lime clay. I'm assuming Awuga has been one of our customers buying that green dye, which is fantastic. I like this. We do have fire spread turned off as well, so that's a pretty neat little feature. And basically, I think we have 3 slime chunks out there in an L shape. I don't know how many platforms there are yet. It looks like quite a few, which is great. And all the slimes get funneled down to here on top of these the magma blocks, so they hop around on those, they get hurt, and then all the slime ends up in here. Right now there's only 9 in there. Looks like we'll have to do some AFKing in order to get the slime that we need. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Also, I'm not sure, I think we have to be standing back here, somewhere back here, in order for the slime to really be spawning for us. And I have all the redstone in place. It took a little while, and it's definitely a big mess, but it works, which is the important part. So over here we have our 4 buttons that turn on and off the spawners that all meet up at this one killing chamber. Got the skeleton spawner, and then the 3 zombies. The zombie spawners are pretty simple, as I said. We just have a T flip-flop here, kind of a tileable design, so that they can be right next to each other, and it just moves this redstone block back and forth, so we can turn all of those on. And I'm just pulling away power through different ways. Here we have this redstone coming down here, and it pushes down a slime tower, which pushes down a redstone block at the end and turns on the lights there. So when the lights are on here, that means the spawner is activated. And then from this one and this one, we have some pistons up there that either go retract or extend, and it turns off the lights. So like that power, that redstone there is activated now, and it's turning on the lights, and now it's deactivated. Same with the other one for that spawner up there. So everything works. We're getting the zombies coming in, which is great. And then of course we have the skeleton spawner, which was a little bit trickier, but it does work. So right now it's activated, and we have the skeletons coming this way. So we can look up there and see the water stream is coming this way. So that's good. We can also see that the lights are off over there. And if we go and push the button again, then that will be deactivated. So we can go look at what happened. Lights are now on. The water is still diverted to this place though. So that's all working great. And then of course we can go over here. And I have this AFK area set up that we'll take a look at in a second. I just want to show the skeletons off first. So now this light is on, which means that the skeleton spawner should be activated. And it is. The lights are off, and the water is now diverted this way rather than that way. So there's a couple of blocks there that are blocking off the path for the skeletons to come this way. So that's all working there, and it is great. And we can take a look at the redstone back here. It's a big jumbled mess. I kind of know what's going on. But back here, this is what I had in my testing world. So we're pulling off one signal from this button. It's coming over here to this side and going to the T flip-flop and the RS NOR latch here. And then from the other spawner, we have the button coming in from here and going to the T flip-flop and the RS NOR latch. And then we have to send 3 signals away from here. So we have one signal here that goes to this redstone lamp. That's just our indicator light to tell us that the skeletons are coming over to here. And then we have another one for the other side, of course. So that's what this one is. And then we have another line. Where is that coming off? It's coming off down here. Actually, we have 2 more lines. That's right. We have 4 different outputs from here. One of them comes off from the T flip-flop, and one of them comes off from the RS NOR latch. So we have the RS NOR latch line going here, and actually underneath that line is for the T flip-flop, which is for the lights. So you can see it there. We have 2 lines right on top of each other, and both of those go to slime towers over here. Let's hop up a level so we can take a look at that. So the RS NOR latch signal goes to this little slime block tower, which will either power those pistons or those pistons and divert the water whichever way. And then the T flip-flop signal, if we can get around here, heads over here to this slime block tower, and it will either power the lights on or off. So that's all working very nicely. It is, like I said, a very big mess, but luckily all of this can get covered up behind the scenes. The only thing that we'll see is those 2 lines and those 2 lines, but I will cover those up a little bit as well, so it'll just look like a red tube going through here. Everything else will be behind the scenes. And as I said, we have the AFK chamber set up over here, so we can push these buttons to turn these spawners on. Again, just a T flip-flop over here with the spiders to turn the lights on and off in there, and then those the lines for the skeleton go off that way. So now the skeletons will get diverted over here, and we can kill them this way. The spiders I had a little trouble with, and it's still not a great setup, but it does work. What we have going on here is the spiders get brought up into a little tube here with some water streams, and then they are supposed to climb up to the top here, which they sometimes do. Also, they can hit you from 2 blocks away, which is very, very annoying. I just have a little glass pane there to block them from coming out. So if we push this button, it puts out a little glass block underneath them, stopping any new ones from coming in. Again, just a T flip-flop there. And then over here we have a crushing mechanism, which uses a comparator clock to time that out. And that should bring them down to basically a one-hit kill. So we can just do that, push the button, and then new ones will come in. Again, they don't always like to climb up, at least not very quickly. They sort of struggle against each other. But eventually they do make their way up, and then you can kill the next batch. And everything pretty much works. Ouch, I don't like that. I am going to be kind of fixing that. We're going to set up a little potion brewing area here so you can make some potions to throw at them instead of having to go up and get close to them to kill them with your sword. So yeah, that's all the redstone. There's still a lot of stuff to do here. We do have our enchanting setup down here, but I will move that somewhere else. So we need to get that set up. We need to get the storage all set up. I think I am going to make one collection area for all the items, maybe somewhere over here. I also, with the potion brewing, we actually get some of the items from these guys. We get the spider eyes, at least, from the spiders that we can turn into potions of harming to kill them. We can also grow the brown mushrooms, which we need for our fermented spider eye, and sugarcane and nether wart in order to make those potions. So I'd like to have those getting grown somewhere, probably over here somewhere, and we'll have the potion brewing set up here. I'd also like to have a bone meal farm for getting lots of like wheat, potatoes, carrots, beets, if you need any of that. So I might set that up somewhere around here so that you can get those items without leaving the AFK area. It would be the goal. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I know it's been a lot of information just bombarding you, especially lots of redstone stuff. And to those of you who are not into redstone, well, thanks for sticking around. Hopefully you understood at least some of what was going on. The main thing is that everything that's going on behind the scenes is just so that the interface is super easy. All you have to do is push a button, and anyone can do it. That's what I wanted to do, is just make it as simple as possible, as easy as possible. And I think we achieved that, which is great. I love it. If you have any suggestions for how to make the spider killing area better, to make them climb up better, that'd be great, because I played around with a few different things and I couldn't really find a way for them to climb up quickly and right away all the time. But this does seem to work for the most part, so I'm fine with this, but if we could improve it easily, that would be great as well. Yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Make sure to leave a like down below. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can always head on over to patreon.com/theSirhc. We'll see you next time. Goodbye, peoples.